United have just been thrashed 4-0 by Crystal Palace in the Premier League. And what I want to say from the very, very beginning is I'm completely done with these set of players. It's time they go. I've been saying this for about the last 6 months, I think. 90% of this squad need to be sold. We saw that tonight. Yes, of course, people will blame the manager, but how is the manager at fault for these players just giving up, these players throwing him under the bus? Or maybe they're just simply not good enough, you know? Like, there's all of these different outlets to look at. You've got Casemiro, absolutely awful. I'm sorry. You've got Johnny Evans playing at centre-back, who's probably been one of our better players this season. He's 36 years of age. It's just depressing, really, isn't it? Like, I don't know any other way of putting it. There'll be some people tonight screaming, get the manager out, you know, thinking that somebody would get more out of these players. Like, just look at the team who started tonight. Like, please just have a think about what you're saying here. The likelihood is now, realistically, Erik ten Hag's going to go to Bayern Munich, I imagine. We will probably sack him. He'll go to Bayern Munich. He'll do well. We'll probably get Thomas Tuchel in. Crystal Palace are a good side. Like, most Manchester United fans are too entitled. We're not the team we were 10 years ago. We haven't won a Premier League in over 10 years. We've won one trophy in the last 6 years, and that was the Carabao Cup, which most kind of, well, not most fans, but some fans don't even see as a reputable trophy. We've won one trophy in 6 years. You're going up against the Crystal Palace side, who prior to tonight had won 3 of their last 4 games. They've won 4 of their last 5 games now, Crystal Palace. They haven't lost a game. They've won 4 out of 5 games in the Premier League. Like, what did we really expect? You go through that team that started tonight. Onana, absolutely terrible. Awful signing by Erik ten Hag. Absolutely awful. Like, I genuinely think Dean Henderson's a better goalkeeper. I said it in the summer. David De Gea is a better goalkeeper than Onana. He's absolutely crap. His distribution is awful. He can't save shots. He's terrible. I say he needs to go. We're not going to be able to sell him, so he's definitely stuck here. But you go through the rest of the squad. Johnny Evans, Casemiro, obviously both need to go. Wan-Bissaka looked like he wasn't interested. Looked like he was ready to go and start playing for Crystal Palace again. Diogo Dalot, I mean, he's been quite good this season, but is he really a world-class right-back? I'm not sure, personally. I think he's okay. I think he's a good squad player, but I don't think he's someone who's going to win the Premier League, Diogo Dalot. Christian Eriksen, his legs were gone probably a year ago. After he got that injury, I think it was against Andy Carroll, wasn't it, in the League Cup last season, and he was out for like 2 or 3 months. Like, ever since then, he's just not been the same player. Kobbie Mainoo, 18 years of age. He shouldn't be starting every game for Man United. Like, we should have better options than Kobbie Mainoo. That's not me sat here saying that Kobbie Mainoo's a bad player. I'm just saying Kobbie Mainoo should be slowly implemented into the team. You shouldn't be having to throw in an 18-year-old as your holding midfielder. Like, he's clearly not ready to be starting every single game for Manchester United, you know? I think the hype around Mainoo is obviously good. He's come through the youth academy. He's obviously an English player who's come through the youth academy, which obviously creates more of a media hype. But do we genuinely think that, you know, Kobbie Mainoo should be playing as many games as he is? I don't think so. I mean, Crystal Palace are near the bottom of the table. You look further up the pitch, Antony, probably the biggest waste of money in Manchester United history, 100 million euros, another terrible signing by Erik ten Hag. But again, I'll point back to the club's executives, to John Murtough. Erik ten Hag told John Murtough on the first few days of him becoming the Man United manager that he wanted Antony. Ajax quoted us 20 million euros for Antony, or it was something around that, 20, 30 million euros. Man United say, no, we're not paying that, right? They start the season without any Antony and any Casemiro. We lose the first 2 games against Brentford and Brighton last season, and then they go and spend 100 million euros on him. So Ineos need to be watching this closely, and they need to not continue these same mistakes again in the future. Mason Mount, I think Mason Mount actually looked all right when he was on the pitch, so fair play to him. I mean, when I say all right, I mean like a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10. You know, he wasn't good, but he wasn't terrible. Garnacho, I don't think I even saw him touch the ball today, to be honest. And Højlund, again, I think, to be honest, for me, Højlund is the same as Kobbie Mainoo. I think Højlund has potential, just like Kobbie Mainoo does. But do we really think Højlund is good enough to be leading the line for Manchester United every single week? I don't think so, personally. I think he has the potential to be, but a team of Manchester United's calibre should be able to be better at recruiting, that we could have, you know, a world-class striker like a Rooney, like a Van Nistelrooy, like someone of that quality. And then you have Rasmus Højlund as the understudy who comes and plays 20, 30 minutes here and there, or plays in the League Cup. Like, that's what Højlund should be doing at the moment. You know, the same with Mainu, I think. I think he definitely has the potential to be a first-team player starting every game, but it just shows how low our levels are, where I've gone through the whole of our squad, and there's probably only 3 players in the team that started today that I would keep, and that would be Højlund, Mainu, and Dalot, and Garnacho. And I still don't think any of them should really be starters, personally. It depends what our expectations are, right? If we want to try and get 4th place and that's our goal, I think you can have Højlund, Garnacho, Mainu as your kind of first team starters every week, and you probably will battle out for 4th place, and you might get it one year and then you won't get it next year. But if we if we genuinely want to go to the next level, like, I don't think those players are the players who are going to be starting every week, personally, for me. And then everyone else in the squad needs to be sold. Like, the rest of them are absolutely crap, to be completely honest with you. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Someone's saying, please give up on Erik ten Hag. Mate, I can't give up on Erik ten Hag after that. You know, like, how can you genuinely watch that game and think that was Erik ten Hag's fault? We've got so many injuries. What I will blame Erik ten Hag on is the signings. Onana is terrible. We should have kept De Gea. Anthony is crap. We wasted 100 million. Mason Mount, awful signing. We didn't need him. I will give him the blame for that. Casemiro, terrible signing. Real Madrid were rubbing their hands when we gave them 70 million euros for him. His signings have been terrible, absolutely awful, and he has been backed. So I will agree with that. But I've said this to you guys many, many times before. The manager should never be signing the players at a top football club. That's not how football clubs are run. It should be a director of football. We've not had a director of football. So it's easy for us to sit here and blame Erik ten Hag, and Erik ten Hag does get that blame. But if you actually point the blame back at the correct person, it should be at the ownership for not having a director of football, for not having a proper structure, for allowing a manager to come in and to pick whatever player he wants at every position. Like, that's not how football should work. It's not how Man City run. It's not how Arsenal run. It's not how any of Barcelona, Real Madrid. Those managers come in and they're very much coaches. They'll have a team of people around them who will pick the players and say, we want you to play this style of football, go and do it. But it's not like that at Man United. And I think, obviously, you know, yeah, let's see what people are saying in the chat. So we've got a poll running. The question is this the end of Erik ten Hag? 66% of you say yes, it is the end of Erik ten Hag. And 34% of you say no. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. But yeah, people always say to you, oh, you don't blame Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag has bought bad players, okay? But the blame also has to go on the lack of director of football, not having any of those things around him. But effectively, he still did sign off on buying these players. Onana wasn't needed. Højlund. The thing is, though, right, let me just think about this logically, right? We didn't even really want Højlund. I'm sorry, we didn't. We wanted Harry Kane and we didn't get him. Who else? Casemiro. We didn't want Casemiro. We wanted Frankie de Jong. We didn't get him. We didn't even want Lisandro Martinez. We wanted Jurriën Timber and we didn't get him. So it's easy to blame Erik ten Hag, but we still didn't actually get his first choice signings. Me personally, I'm still sticking with Erik ten Hag, but I can't see him coming back from this, to be honest. Like, you've just lost 4-0. How many games have we won? Let's have a look. Like, our form, it has been absolutely terrible. We're almost definitely not going to get European football now. We're going to get embarrassed by Man City. In the table, we're below Chelsea. We're in 8th place. We are 2 points behind Newcastle, who we play in a couple of weeks. Like, I mean, we've got Arsenal next, and then we play Newcastle, then we play Brighton, and then we play Man City. I said this to you guys like a week ago. I said I genuinely can't see us winning another game this season. I think this was probably the most winnable game of the rest of the season. We've got Arsenal next, who are trying to win the title. Newcastle, who are absolutely on fire at the moment. Brighton away, who are better than Crystal Palace, and then we've got Man City. Like, I genuinely would not be surprised if we don't win another Premier League game. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Get your comments in, guys. I will read out as many as I can. There's lots of people. So there seems to be a lot of support for Erik ten Hag still, which is good. I think anybody who watched that game and doesn't point the finger at the players, like, really needs to readjust what's going on. Like, how, I don't know. It's just depressing, isn't it? I'm sorry. Like, it is just depressing. It's not surprising, though. Like, I didn't go into this game expecting us to win. I just 4-0, watching people walk around, not even seem interested. Like, the players are throwing the manager under the bus. Do you know what I want to talk about as well, which has really, really upset me, is how many players do Arsenal have injured? Go and have a look. Arsenal don't have a single injury at the moment. Not one. Man City are the same. No injuries. And they're at the top. They're fighting for the title, right? Our season is effectively over and players are dropping like flies. Now, this is just my opinion. I don't have 100% evidence of this, but do you think it's a coincidence that we're at the tail end of the season? We're not even playing for Champions League football anymore. We're playing for Europa. We've got a Euros coming up this summer and players are literally dropping like flies. I mean, even Bruno Fernandes, right? He's never missed a game through injury in his whole career. Today, he isn't playing. McTominay's injured. Rashford just seems to have disappeared after calling out people for abuse. He's now decided he's injured. Varane, literally, I think with Varane, if he feels the tiniest little knock in his leg, he won't play. Camboir's injured now. Martinez, obviously, that's a long-term injury. Lindelof's out. Luke Shaw's out. Malacia's out. Maguire's out. We've got 10 or more first-team players injured, and people just don't seem to be coming back. I think they've all just said, this season is done for. I don't want to play anymore. We've got a Euros coming up in the summer. Screw this, effectively. That's how I see it. And it is really, really disappointing. I just want the season to end now. What do I think is going to happen? I mean, the biggest thing that Manchester United could do here, and this is what I would do personally, is Ineos come out and say that Erik ten Hag isn't getting sacked and that they're keeping him and that in the summer they're going to clear out, because you hear Ange Postecoglou doing this, right? And that's the one thing I don't like about Erik ten Hag, is I want him to be more honest in his press conferences. He's starting to get a bit more honest, but Ange Postecoglou, a couple of games ago, said, in the summer, we're going to get rid of loads of players. We're going to get rid of all the people who can't play the football I want to play. I think if Erik ten Hag came out and said that, he would earn a lot more respect, because at the moment, when he in the press conferences, it's like he's saying we've got a good squad and he's saying we're building and all the rest of it. And we're all sat here thinking all of the fan base want these players gone. But yet you've got the Manchester United manager sat there saying that, we're building something with these players and all the rest of it. I don't know whether it's just because Man United's such a big club. I don't know whether Ineos have said to him, you have to stick by the players because we want to retain their values. I don't know. That is a possibility, because obviously, if I'm just watching back the goals now, Onana should have literally saved 3 at least of those goals. If that was De Gea, he would have saved probably all of those goals. It's no, the fact that we had the most clean sheets last season, that's no coincidence. De Gea won the Golden Glove, and he had a similar amount of shots against him as what Onana has. It's just terrible, isn't it? It really, really is. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Someone's saying bring Ragnick back. Don saying, how can you say Palace are a good side? Mate, Palace have won 4 out of the last 5 games in the Premier League. And you don't think that makes them a good side, an informed side? The manager who they just brought in hasn't lost a game since he's taken over. How can you not say that's a good side? Go and look at their team, right? Go through their team really quickly. I'd take Dean Henderson over Onana. I would take all of their front line over our front line, 100%. Elise is better than Anthony or Garnacho. Eze's better than Anthony or Garnacho. Mateta's probably better than Højlund, to be honest. Let's be clear here. As much as I want Højlund to succeed, he's not exactly taken the world by storm, has he, this season? I don't know. All right, I'm going to try and go and switch off for a bit, because it's honestly just depressing at this point, isn't it? It really, really is. My closing statement is this. I hope that Man United stick with Erik ten Hag. I hope that we have the biggest clear out in history. We go and sign 7 or 8 first-team players this summer, because if we sell players, we will have more than enough money to do that. I want Ineos to be brutal. It's all good and well, these stories being leaked to the press, that Jim Ratcliffe sent an email round saying that he's upset that the offices are untidy and he wants the staff to come and work in the office again and stop working from home. That's all good and well. That's fine. You do that, Jim Ratcliffe. But if you don't actually make any difference with the playing squad and you're not brutal with them, I don't care whether you send an email to your staff saying that the offices are dirty and you want them to clean up more. That's just noise to me. I want tomorrow to wake up seeing that Eriksen, Casemiro, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, the list goes on and on and on and on. Martial, Amrabat, all of these people are going. Johnny Evans, massive clear out. 10, 15 players sold in the summer. That's what needs to happen. Otherwise, it's just pointless. Whoever we bring in, we're just going to be in the same situation. We'll be having this same conversation in 18 months. The same people who want Erik ten Hag out will want Thomas Tuchel out, or whoever it is, and we'll just be on that cycle forever. So this is the biggest window of Ineos's reign, because this is the one where they can actually make a difference. But let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, I'm still sticking with Erik Ten Hag, though, I think. I just don't see how you can blame Erik Ten Hag when you look at the injuries, when you look at the team. He had Johnny Evans, a 36-year-old, who got relegated by Leicester City last season and released as a free agent by Leicester City last season, playing at centre-back. You've got Casemiro, who's not even very good as a midfielder anymore, playing as a centre-back. You've got Wan-Bissaka, who's been crap for about a year, playing at left-back, and he's a right-back. So your whole back line is disorientated. You've got Ericsson, who literally should have retired from football probably 2 or 3 years ago. He's terrible. Kobe Mainoo, as I said, shouldn't be starting every game for Man United. Anthony, awful. Mason Mount hasn't played a game since October because of injury. Garnacho, again, I think he has the potential, but I don't think he should be starting every single game. And you've got Højlund, who, again, I don't think should be starting every game if we have any aspirations above finishing the top 4, personally, because I don't think Højlund's the finished article. He's a backup striker to me. But that's my take. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. Let me know your thoughts. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.